Hello, welcome to Toy Talk. It's a little side project from Podcast from the Pit where I just interview my friends who have channels or, just collect toys. Uh, Something I like to do. And tonight we have Ken from Toy Kennections. How are you?
Doing well, man. I gotta admit, after I saw your last episode, or I should say your debut episode with Tony's Figs, I
Yeah.
got pretty excited to be one of the people coming down the pipeline to come on and do the show because I listened to the whole thing, drove around, forgot how big a DC fan he was, even though he told
Oh
me he was a
yeah.
big DC fan. I'm
Yeah.
like, good, got things to talk
Yeah,
about with him,
he
you know?
he was so fun to do the show with. I mean, it's just that I haven't done a lot with Tony. Uh, I think that might be the first stream we've ever done together. But we
Well,
met at Joe Fest, and it was a lot of fun. Just
a
super nice
man
guy,
of
down to earth.
a man of many interests, which is cool, and a man of many talents. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, sometimes I would like to see what he sees when he picks up a toy, and I know he's gonna, does he already know what he's making out of it? Does he know what he already needs to do? It's like magic. It's incredible.
Pretty
And
much.
yeah, and that sound right there knows you're listening to Podcasts from the Pit because dogs are barking.
Hey, Pumpkin Toys has Roman, and
Yeah.
you've got a dog too. It's all fine.
Yeah, but I'm embarrassed to say my dog's name because I didn't name her.
It's fine.
My daughter did.
It's just the dog. It's what it is.
Well, I love this dog so much, and she got a Jersey Shore name. I'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Leave it at that. But yeah, known you for a couple years now. We met at Joe Fest 2023. Honestly, one of the highlights of the show because I've been watching Toy Kennections for a minute, and so down to earth, super nice to me, and excited. Been on Toy Kennections before. You've been on Podcast from the Pit. I would honestly say you are one of my best friends that do these shows, and I can't thank you enough.
Appreciate that, man. And hey, whenever you need me, I'll make an effort to be around.
Oh, yeah,
I appreciate you do
great
with
at it.
Eric Harper. What Eric Harper does, Matt, when he's able to join in. Appreciate what all you guys do. A lot of the guests you have that are regulars on here, long list of
Yeah.
them, and yeah, it's been great. It's been great getting to know you
We
all.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's just we're described as like a lighthearted toy podcast, and that's how we like it. But I'm gonna hit you with some hard hitting questions because I'm a journalist.
I can take it. I can take it.
All right.
No softball here.
Did you always collect toys, or was there a period that you did not?
I'd be lying if I said I always did, only because there was a very, very short period that I didn't. It was like between something like either 18 to 20 or 17 to 20. I can't remember. But there was a period there where in my very late teens, because I still would buy some Power Ranger stuff, some Beast Wars stuff into my teenage years in the 1990s. And then there was like a couple years there where I didn't buy any toys. The only toy I bought for about a 2-year period was a James Hetfield Metallica figure, which I know that sounds strange coming from someone who's never talked about that before. And then by 2000 and end of 2002, I was like, I'm going to start this adult collect. I mean, I was barely an adult, but I was like, I'm going to start this adult collecting thing because I was visiting my sister in the US. She was living in Boston at the time. And I found one of the seasons of the Transformers on DVD. I never looked back. I came back into town, found some small specialty shops. In January 2003, I was a full-fledged toy collector right through the end of my college years and then some.
Nice. For a long time, I was like, I don't collect toys. But then I started thinking, well, yes, I did. Because I, very early 90s, Playmates, Star Trek Next Generation figures.
Yep.
I love Star Trek. So I got all those. I didn't open them. I thumbtacked them to the wall. They look really good. But I lost all of them in a flood. We had a flood where we lived. And I mean, I guess, going back now, I would have just opened them up out of the package because I open everything now. But I didn't think like that back then. Just got rid of all of them.
Were you still in Indiana at the time, or were you somewhere else?
Yes, yeah, Indiana.
Was it
And
a
we lived in
baseball?
like this little valley.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was at work. I was working third shift, and the rain came so hard that it washed pretty. We lived in like a single wide trailer at the time, and
Oh.
it just washed everything out.
Oh, okay. Damn.
But I mean, wife and kids are okay, so that's all that matters.
There you go. And now you got a grandkid as well.
Oh yeah, and you know what's awesome? I just seen where Mattel's going to do a lot of She-Ra figures this year for the
Yep.
40th anniversary.
Yep.
I've already got some put back for her, so I'm gonna get all these. Yeah,
When she's ready to play. I love it. Get the interest
yeah,
level going.
me and her will be playing together.
There we go.
Favorite childhood toys?
Oh, well, there's a few surprises on this one. I sold it during my adult years, and I wish I never had my Power Rangers White Ranger from 1994 that I got with the Tiger Zord. I really, really wanted the Tiger Zord for Christmas in '94, and I got it. And I played the wheels off of that Tiger Zord and the White Ranger. Why I got rid of them in my adult years while I was a toy collector, I don't know. Just not a great decision. My Power Master Optimus Prime, because I did not get the '84 Optimus Prime. I had the chance to get it in '86. Because sometimes toys would hold over on shelves for a couple of years back then. Usually it'd be a year. Occasionally you'd get that second year where things would hold over. I didn't get that original Optimus, but I got the Power Master version, and I still have that in my collection today. So
Nice.
that's up there. The Mobile Command Center, even though I don't get to play with it a whole lot, because I'll never forget February '89, my 7th birthday. I had the choice between the Mobile Command Center and the Defiant. I chose the Mobile Command Center. They were across the aisle from each other from a place called Toy City, which is now a Staples Business Center. I was just there last week. Forget exactly which aisle it was, but I got those. And that one I did not get to keep my childhood one like I did with my Power Master Optimus, but it's still those are heartwarming memories for me where I wouldn't be doing this today if I didn't have those things. Let's put it that way.
Right. I think that part of the appeal when I got back into Joe was, and I said what a lot of people would say, I'm just going to get what I had as a kid, get that feeling back. Well, I never had a terror drum as a kid. I got one. I never had the flag as a kid. I've got one. I think it's important that I have a supportive wife who she's okay if I work some overtime and buy an expensive toy like my Eternia playset. Yes. Because I could do a lot worse with my money, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she's very supportive. I can't thank her enough. I want to get her on the show one day, but she won't do it.
No, audio. How about audio only? Just then don't have to be too.
Well, Hillbilly was trying to talk because all three of our wives are coming to Joe Fest this year, and he's like, "We need to have a wife show." I'm like,
if they're shy to come on, do the Joburg thing. Do the Joburg thing. Have them all just have them with icons on screen. I don't know.
She says I'm the toughest one to raise out of all her kids. But all right, let's talk about Podcast for the Piz. So thankful that you had us on your Resolute video. That was an amazing video. The way you edited that, and a lot. I can learn a lot from that video, and I will be hitting you up when I start doing another project I've got coming up.
Please do. I'll be around, and happy to have you all on. And Gaz was on that one as well.
Oh yeah. Gaz is awesome.
Yeah, it's what I really wanted to do with videos like that. When I do those kinds of videos, those collaborations with my friends, I want them to be quite timeless, right? Because sometimes you have a video, after a while, the topic kind of floats away, and then like if I'm talking, I'm not going to pick on any of my toy friends, but let's just say sports news, right? Whatever, pick your favorite sports team. You watch a video that week, 3 days later, that news is old, right? I wanted something that we could keep coming back to and be like, this was us in our prime years, and we can cherish that 20 years from now. That experience we got, and I hope that tons and tons of people see that, and they see us talking about our favorite stuff
Yeah.
when we were capable of doing that. You know what I mean? That's important to me. It's important in any collaboration I do with my friends, right?
Yeah. That was just great timing because, like, not even 2 days before you hit me up, I had just rewatched it. That is
Perfect.
like, it was just meant to be, and it was so
Wow.
fun. Yeah.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
know Matt was really excited to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know because of Matt's schedule and timing wise, I did not get to talk to him for as long as I would have wanted to. So I know his parts, I felt his parts got a little bit reduced, but he didn't feel that way. And neither did you. You were like, no, I think he did great. I'm like, okay, good. So it's just me trying to be a bit conscientious about it because I was like, you know, I wanted to work more of his stuff in there and ask him some more questions, but me and him could only find a really short time slot on a Saturday to get that done. And then like, I'll take what I can and I'll work it in as best I can. And it worked well enough, I think, for his
Oh,
stuff. But I
very
still
well.
wanted
Yeah.
to get a bit more, but it just timing
Yeah.
just didn't allow it. And we're just grateful for what we got. Right. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
I hope eventually his time will free up because when it's the three of us doing, live streams or, pre-records and stuff like that, it feels more like Podcasts from the Pit because me and him started it
Yeah.
4 years ago. And Hillbilly's been a blessing to us because he can make these shows and he makes them fun. And honestly, I work with two good guys. I just wish I could do
You really
every
do.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did Podcast on the Pit start? Like before YouTube, were you on Apple and Spotify?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I think we put everything up through Podbean, Buzzsprout, stuff like that.
Okay. That's cool.
And now I take we recorded on Saturday, and probably Thursday I'll put it out on podcasts because we still got a fair number of people who just listen to the podcast.
Yep, that makes sense.
So, yeah, a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, I should keep that in mind because when I'm driving, I'll usually, watch a bunch of your episode. But I'll put it on YouTube and I'll just set the resolution low so that I can listen to it while driving, kind of thing, right? Yeah. Admittedly, I tend to get to my destination before I hit your number one pick sometimes. So I'm just like,
a
lot of times I comment on I comment, but really I'm commenting on your 3 and maybe your 2 pick.
So. We appreciate you watching. Yeah. But if you want some rough listening, you can go back and listen to a few of the beginning episodes.
we all learned. One of the comments I always get about my earlier episodes of Transformers and G.I. Joe is, what is wrong with your audio? Because my sound just was not great. When you watch some of the longer supercuts where I take all the history of Transformers or G.I. Joe in the 80s, I'll have better audio in my introduction. And then I'll be like, okay, first year Transformers 84. And the audio quality just dips. And people are like, what the hell happened to you, Ken? Did you record while having a cold? And I'm like, no, it's just that's what I had at the time, and I wasn't about to redub the entire audio over. I wanted you to see me as I was at the time, right? No, I mean, just keep going, it'll get better. And they're like, I don't even like your background music back then. I'm like, that gets better too. You know what I mean? I just had background music for ambience to start, and I didn't realize I wasn't creating the best ambience, and that's okay. We all learn. I'm still proud of the information that's in there, right?
Yeah, and Podcast from the Pit got better because early on, we realized we had some shortcomings in our sound and this and that, and we reached out to Order Battle and Anything Joe's, and they would give us some tips on how to make the sound better. Kind of like, like I reach out to you for YouTube advice. And
right.
This community has a lot of great people.
Order Battle, is that Jason Morell or Tim Finn? Or
yes.
Who wants that?
Yep.
Jason Morell? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason and Joel.
He was the one who kept telling me and Steve, you got to come to Assembly Required next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes every year.
Yeah, he loves that show. Some people like it more than Joe Fest, apparently. I'm like, wow, that's high praise.
At my job, I hit my 10 years this year, and I get an extra week of vacation. So I might go to Assembly Required next November. You never know. You never know. But also, if it's between that or PowerCon, I'm going to PowerCon.
Which we've not seen as of the time of this recording. That may change.
Right.
We've not seen an announcement, and we've seen the Four Horsemen put up their show schedule for 2025. That's not there. That's not on there. So anyway,
All right. let's see. Are you? We've talked about TV shows before. Are you watching anything right now? Because I got a
So
habit of binge watching stuff.
I just finished up to where Cobra Kai left off in season 6, and they're gonna pick up the remainder of season 6 in February. So that's kind of the show that I've been watching, and I'll go back and watch some older episodes of that because I like when you can bring back nostalgia, expand a
Hmm.
franchise while still giving us all the feel good moments. Does it get campy at times? Does the plot sometimes feel a little, I don't want to say forced, but like things kind of drop in and you're like, well, that's a little too convenient, right? Um, and but I like that aspect of it. Uh God, my favorite shows of all time were things like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon,
Now, I am going
Battlestar
to try to give
Galactica.
that another shot. I love Game of Thrones. I only made it through like 4 or 5 episodes of House of Dragon, but I'm going to give it another shot because I trust you.
A lot changes as it goes on because while Game of Thrones, a lot happens in a more compressed timeline. House of the Dragon does more time jumps. So when you
Hmm.
see the time jumps, you'll be able to see the scope of what it is. You might still not like it because there's not a big focus on House Stark or House Lannister. For I mean, their Lannisters are there. Starks show up,
Yeah.
um, but it's all about the Targaryens. So if you're not liking that whole Targaryen thing and the dragons, you might not like it at all. But the time jump will give you a bigger scope of what's happening with that show.
I
Um,
mean, I thought I'd be all in on it because Matt Smith's on it. And he was one of my favorite doctors on Doctor Who. So,
well, he's a big part of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica, and I'm currently
Oh,
working
yeah.
through Robotech.
Oh,
So,
nice. Yeah. I love
yes.
Robotech.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
I'll tell you what. Uh, House of Dragons. I'm going to go through that. I will watch it because I got faith. I could see it was probably going to get better, but then I got wrapped up into Wheel of Time,
Okay.
and I love
That's
those
fair.
books. And the show's
That's fair.
good. The show's really good. It's got enough changes to make it interesting. You know what I mean? It's not. They're not giving you word from the books, and I like that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm not always going to sit there. It's kind of like Walking Dead. You know, this person dies in the comic, but it doesn't die in the show. This person died like that one died, but both are good
Hmm.
because they're different
Interesting.
enough.
Yeah, I give up on Walking Dead midway through season 5. Some people say I
So,
have to keep going,
yeah,
but
it's so good. I've watched them all. I've watched everything, honestly. Fear the
that's
Walking
my wife's
Dead.
that's my wife's favorite show, Walking Dead. Which is funny
Uh,
because you'd think I'd make time to watch it, but midway through the series, I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
uh, I quit when, I mean, I knew he was going to die because I read the comics, Glenn, but it was really brutal. And I stopped watching it for about 2 years. And I thought, you know what? I really like that show. So
I
I went
came
back.
back for that scene. That was after
Yeah.
I quit, but I came back for that scene, right?
Yeah.
Because I always liked Glenn
Uh,
because he landed a chick that was out of his league, and that's
very much so.
that gave us. I was a much younger man when that show started. That gave us
Yeah.
all hope, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And,
Glenn, he kind of looks like me, but he's dating a girl that's kind of looks like a model. I like Glenn now.
you know, and she was in the first season of Supernatural for about 3 episodes. She was
That I
awesome.
didn't see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see. Is there a toy line you don't collect, but you would like to? I
uh,
have to ask because I didn't know I wanted to collect masks, so I just watched that video you put out.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Dino Riders. Um, I got the 2-pack of just 2 of the figures, not even the dinosaurs, while I was in the production of that video. So I don't really count that as being collecting Dino Riders because I didn't even pick it up yet. I just paid for it by e-transfer and I picked it up like sometime after the video was done.
Yeah.
And but I don't have any of the dinosaurs from that line, and that's one that I want to get into. And when I say get into, you know me, I take
Yeah.
spin-offs and spiritual sequels and fan love letters. So when I see Cyberzoic and what Creative B Studio is doing, I want to get that too, right? Phil has been a big help in kind of learning about Dino Riders. I lied. I got the Ankylosaurus at the last toy show about a month and a half ago. I'm looking at it
Yeah, I
right
think
now.
I remember that now. Yeah.
I have one dinosaur. I'm just seeing it over there. It's a small dinosaur. It's about this big. So maybe this doesn't count anymore but this question's still valid as of recent history.
Right.
Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Right. I was looking a bit at the Matchbox Robotech stuff, but even that, I don't know that I can say I'm not into, because I have the Macross Valkyrie from the Macross series in Japan. So I kind of have the main one, but it's not Robotech branded, it's Macross branded. So does that answer your question? I guess it's like I guess I answered it in two different ways, but I really only gave like 80% of an answer that was like, it is, but right, here's
Well,
an exception.
I think the problem is there's just too many cool toys, not enough money and space.
Absolutely. Right.
And what I love is when I think the first picture I took and put up on Instagram, I had a Tomahawk and about 10 Joes.
Yep.
That's all I had at the time. And I'm hearing people talk about, oh, wait till you run out of room. I was like, I'm not going to run out of room. Yeah, I'm running out of room.
Flag, Eternia, Terradrome.
Well, yeah, and I want to get my flag back out, so I'm going to have to start doing some rearranging, because, you know, I love the flag, and it was a nice piece, and a friend hooked me up with it at a good price, so it's got to come back out. It's up right now.
I don't even display mine. I display Keel Hall. Does that count?
Yeah. Mine's not displayed right now either. I've got my decking behind all this stuff. You can't see it. And I got everything else in a big tote.
Is Keel Hall somewhere up there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's up there.
There you go. Kind of represent.
Yeah, trying to. But it's got to come back out. I'm going to put all my Joes on that side, because I have a nice cabinet over there, and probably end up turning this around. But I think that's going to be the plan. Then I got to figure out something to do with the Motu, and I've got a huge Doctor Who collection.
Matt Smith, there you go. Third Doctor, was it? Anyway, I don't know my Doctor.
He was the 11th Doctor.
See, I don't know Doctor Who at all. I literally botched that so badly. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it till about 10 years ago, and just I've seen even the old ones. I've seen them twice, and I'm probably going to start watching them again, because there's so many and it's so good. That's just me, though.
I may have to get into it.
Yeah, I recommend starting with Doctor Number 9. That's what got me.
Netflix. It was on Netflix. The whole series was on Netflix for a while. I wonder if it's still there. So anyway,
no, I think it's on. It's on Max, HBO Max.
I'm gonna check my app, because we don't have HBO here, but we have Crave, which is the HBO license partner. Doctor Who? Nope, it's not on here. Huh? That's too bad.
Yeah, and I know the new series is on Disney.
Oh, okay. Is that one worth watching?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, because I definitely have Disney Plus. So
yeah, okay. It's on there for sure. I'm actually watching the old Netflix Marvel shows on there right now.
Good.
I think I had them in order.
Yes.
So I watched Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1. Now I'm on Daredevil season 2. Then I think I go to Luke Cage after that. So I'm enjoying that.
I watched WandaVision. I liked that for what it was. Very House of M. Very House of M feel to it. Yeah. Anyway.
Dogs.
It's fine.
Let's say, I've asked you this question before. I try to ask everybody this question. But what would be a toy line you would want made from any book, TV show, movie, cartoon that's not currently doing a toy line? And you can pick the scale and everything. They're coming to you saying, Ken, what do you want done?
Does Mask count for this? Because Loyal Subjects has the license. and Ramen Toy is doing it unofficially.
But do they have a line going?
Loyal Subjects has the license and are going to make a line, but as
Okay.
far as I know, they haven't told us what it's going to look like at all. So I'm going to go ahead and say Mask, but I will caveat that and say Dino Riders, because if I've missed recent Loyal Subjects news because I just haven't checked the websites recently, I'll caveat it as a backup with Dino Riders.
Nice.
Right. I just think that these lines that had potential to really hit that next level and never did. Mask got closer than Dino Riders did, but I kind of feel like with Mask that we as collectors, if you collect toys for more than a month, you consider Mask one of the key franchises. But if you don't collect toys, you still know what a Transformer is. You probably remember what a G.I. Joe or He-Man is. You definitely know the superheroes. You probably know wrestling toys. You know what Turtles is. You know what Star Wars is. Mask feels deep cut for the common person out there. My brother stopped collecting toys at a very young age. He considers Mask a very deep cut. He found the theme song. He sent it to me. He goes, "This is really deep cut." And I'm like, I understand why it would be for you, but for anyone who's a toy collector, like full-on toy collector, you get a month in, you'll find someone talking about Mask. So while I feel Mask is that next level down, right? It did not reach the heights I feel it deserved, and Dino Riders never got anywhere close. That's like 3 or 4 tiers down. Where I think Mask was on the cusp, I never got there. I think Dino Riders never got there, not even close. Right. So those are the two lines I would love to see get there. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's long-winded answer. You could say
No,
Brave
it's
Star,
perfect.
but I think Brave Star can weave into Motu Origins or Masterverse very easily. So that's why I didn't say that one. Right. It's a very easy Filmation crossover. Right. They got Sunman in there.
Yeah. I would love to see, and I know Storm Collectibles does it with the Gotcha Man Battle of the Plants or whatever.
Mhm.
There's been everything, G-Force. I'd like to see a more affordable line made because those figures are like $100 a piece. And I've always loved that franchise. It was one of the first cartoons that hooked me when I was a kid.
I feel the same way about Gundam anime stuff. Like, I know that we have the Gunpla, the model kits, and everything. I wanted an actual toy line, and I know that Gundam Universe kind of does them, but they don't do very many, right?
Right.
So, right. So,
yeah. For Gundam, I love Gundam Wing. I think that was a great series.
I think a lot of us got started with Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
That was the one line where I built all the models in 1/100 scale, and I even got the perfect grade Wing Zero custom. I got rid of almost all of them now. I think I have one Gundam Wing left, and one Gundam Seed left, and that's all I have left for Gundam. But I was pretty big into Gundam for a while, so yeah.
And Death Scythe was my favorite.
He's the one I found at the local store in the Gundam universe. I almost got it, but I'm like, do I want just Death Scythe by himself? I'm not sure, right? Because the Gundam, I don't know, right?
Yeah, if I bought him, then I'd turn around and buy Heavy Arms, Sandrock. I'd buy them all. I know I would.
Especially the Endless Waltz versions.
Yes, right? yes.
Like Heavy Arms was so badass in the Endless Waltz version. Like, yeah, he always had those cannons, but he was heavily armed in Endless Waltz, right? And yeah.
And I love the like the original Tall Geese.
Yes.
I love that.
Tall Geese 3 as well. Anything's X Marquis.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's see. How long has Toy Kennections been going now?
I started in April of 2021, so about 3.5 years now. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I gotta say, love the shows because you don't. I don't need 3 hours of something. I get the information I need from you. 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops, I think. And it's awesome. A lot of great visuals. I learned things watching your shows. And it's fun. Like, I did not know. I had one Mask figure as a kid. I never watched a cartoon. Now I'm interested. My wife probably wishes I wouldn't watch the show because I'll probably end up buying some of these. And I think I haven't watched Cops and Crooks yet, but I will. It's on my list. You just do great work. It's toy history, but it's what is the word I'm looking for? Easy
Nostalgia?
listening.
Oh,
Easy listening. Yeah, it's full of nostalgia, but
mhm.
it's just I don't know. You just hit the right spots with this, and you do a
Thank you
great.
for that. I appreciate that, and that was kind of my goal overall. Is that when somebody wants to hit the nostalgia vibe, or even more important, bridging this for the next generation, so that people 20, 25, 30 years younger than us find this later on, and it's presented in a way that will not age too badly. I know I mentioned the thing about the audio later, and that's going to come back to bite me in a few years. It already kind of has. Um, but certain videos that I want to make timeless. I want people to be like, okay, they watch the toys that made us. I want more. Search toy history on YouTube. They watch Toys
Yeah.
That Made America, whatever show, right? And they want more nostalgia. They want more documentary vibes. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to make 1 hour documentaries unless they're super cuts of multiple episodes. But yeah, the 20, sometimes 30 minutes, or sometimes the longer ones you said, like when I did the classic WrestleMania memories, that one was a bit longer, right? I just want to be able to build that library and build that catalog that's just there. And then my work is done. Right. How long that's going to take me, I have no idea. I'll have aged substantially by the time my work is done, if it's ever done. Right. Because I actually you think when I produce a video, it's like, okay, check mark, that's in the catalog, that's in the library. The problem is 3 other things come up that I want to do while I'm making that one. Right.
Yeah.
And it's this never ending chain effect. It's like playing whack-a-mole, but then, you cut the head off the Hydra, 2 more come up, right? I wasn't playing whack-a-mole. I was trying to kill the Hydra after all. And that's what it feels like sometimes doing this channel. And it's been really fun for that purpose. And, getting the appreciation from you, my friends, the viewers, it's been good, but there's so much left out there. Right. There's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I haven't done this yet. I haven't done this yet. I haven't done this yet. And many of them I got to go back and learn. But I want to go back and learn. That's the difference, right?
Right.
Like, I'm not just doing it for the sake of fleshing out a catalog, doing it because I'm fascinated by it. Like, what did I know about Visionaries 3 years ago? What did I know about Brave Star 2 years ago?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But I watched the episodes and I'm like, this is so cool. There's so much here. Oh, it was tied to that. I knew about that, but I didn't know this, because you'd watch one episode here, one episode there as a kid, but you never really absorbed it completely. Right.
Right.
So yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's so many good shows out there, and I think we all do something different. So it's easy not to get burnt out on anything.
Well, you get tired though. So I get tired.
No, I'm saying burn out on other people's shows.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I thought you meant just general burnout. So
Oh,
yeah.
no. And I tell people, I don't know if they believe me or not. I work a full-time job. The hour I spend on Saturday mornings talking toys with my friends is a highlight of my week. That and Sundays I spend with my granddaughter.
Right.
I live for the weekends.
Yes.
And to do we're recording on a Wednesday night. It's not a normal time for me, but I look forward to it all week. I was like, hey, I'm going to get to hang out with Ken for 30, 40 minutes. We're just going to talk about Toy Kennections and toy. I mean, we're talking about toys before we even started recording.
Yep.
And it's so much fun. And I hope people can tell that it's fun. And I want them to enjoy it. If that makes sense. I mean, I
Well,
don't have
look behind you. Look at
yeah.
the hatcher. Look at the hat you're wearing. It's all, we can
Yeah.
tell that you enjoy this a lot, right? We
Yep.
can tell every week when you do your tier lists,
Yeah.
and you'll hit years of GI Joe. Like you're gonna do 94 very soon. It might be done by the time this is aired. No, it won't be, because you're doing a
No,
Christmas
we're a
episode
few weeks
first.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Santa
So
coming next week. This
yeah,
Saturday,
yeah.
Santa will be here.
Santa looks familiar. I've seen the photo of which Santa
Yeah.
you're bringing. He looks familiar.
He
So,
sounds familiar too.
he sounds familiar too. He might be from a very specific part of the U.S., such as West Virginia.
Yeah. He's a
Yeah,
West Virginia Santa.
yeah, West Virginia
But
Santa Claus. Yeah.
and you know what's funny about that is now that's going to be 1 year that was our first live stream ever. Was our Letters of Santa last year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we've done over 50 live streams in a year. We've only missed a couple weeks.
But that's good. You know, like
No, it's so fun. So
you've built a
fun.
loyal following between this, the Facebook group, and everything.
Yeah. We have a very active chat while we're going live.
You do. You do.
And I wouldn't just call them like people in the chat. These are my friends I see every week.
Yep.
They're big into the Facebook groups. And what's funny is the hours that we do our show is good for Australia. So we always got people from Australia watching or in the stream, and we got friends over in New Zealand. It's I don't know, it's international. And
Ronnie Trickshot,
great guys,
is basically regular, right? You know,
yeah,
he's almost like a guest host / guest now, right? So
yeah, he is awesome, and you know, he's been, since he's so much younger than us. These are his prime years.
Yep.
So I love seeing the enthusiasm that he's talking about Joes that I don't care that much about. Mm-hmm. A few here and there I like. Mm-hmm. And these are his childhood Joes, and you just see the excitement, and I love it.
Yeah, I relate because I had 2 different surges with G.I. Joe in my youth. When I was 6, I got into Joe stuff. That would have been 1988. So I got a lot of the stuff that was left over from 87, like the stuff from in the movie, right? Yes, I had Cobra Law. I'm not a fan of them, but I got them. The Renegades and Falcon were some of my first Joes, Mobile Command Center that I mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. And occasionally, like I mentioned about the 2-year holdover sometimes for toys, I did get some from 86. I did grow up with a General Hawk. I cherish that figure because that was in the cartoon. It was one of the very few that I could get from the cartoon. But for the most part, I grew up with Tiger Force and Iron Grenadiers from that era, because that was the 88 sweet spot, right? And
I love Grenadiers.
But the good thing about that is those Tiger Force characters were just recolors of existing molds. So the molds look the same from the earlier years. Like if I managed to get an earlier catalog, I'd be like, hey, this is exactly the same, but they put tiger stripes on them. My second surge with Joe was 92, 93, where I was closer to 10, 11 years old, which is Ronnie's peak years.
Yes.
So my first ever Flint was the Eco Warriors Flint, because I didn't even find the Tiger Force. Maybe I did, but I bought Duke instead. I don't know why. But I grew up with Tiger Force Duke, and my second surge, Eco Warriors Flint. I grew up with Battle Corps in those years, and Star Brigade, right? And Ninja Force, which is funny because I barely covered the 90s on my channel.
Yeah.
It's coming. I just haven't gotten there yet. It's coming. But so I understand Ronnie's love for the 90s stuff, because my second surge with Joe's came exactly in the sweet spot era he's talking about. That's why I was so active on the thread when you talked about 92 or 93, 92, because I had Fort America. I played the wheels off of Fort America. Earthquake, Patriot, Barracuda, Storm Eagle. I was all over it. Right? Almost got the headquarters and my mom returned it.
Oh no. Yeah.
That's a story in of itself. Yeah.
I want to do more Motu, but nobody else does.
I think Eric Harper would get into Motu. I think Hillbilly, you could convince him to do Motu very easily.
As I bought the shirts last year that we wore at Joe Fest for the Saturday, with a new shirt, and it put a G.I. Joe podcast, and underneath it I put with a little Motu.
I love it. Do this. I'm pretty sure Eric would be willing to do Motu. Hit up Ostradamus Toys. I bet he would come on for you.
Oh, I might.
Because
I've never talked to Oz before.
There are some Saturdays he will do. He'll invite his friend just to come talk on StreamYard without going live, and it's around the time that you were on podcasts from the pit. But he doesn't do that all the time. He just does it every now and then. 8 a.m. Eastern, he's up on Saturday. Hit him up for Motu. He's a wealth of knowledge.
It'd be fun.
You and him would get along great, right? And Hillbilly too, right? Matt Harden if he's around, right? So
yeah. Man, I could honestly talk to you for hours. and
Same.
but I know you got stuff to do, and I got work in the morning. But I can't thank you enough for coming on. I've had a
No
blast.
problem. No problem. Any other questions? I've still got a tiny bit of time left. It's all good, man. Unless you hit them all
I
up.
hit you up with all the ones I wrote down.
Good.
But
Right.
and I don't want to waylay you with Delta 17 questions because this is about Toy Connections. We
Yeah,
can do a
but I
Delta
brought the shirt
17
just in
stream
case.
sometime.
But I brought the shirt just in case, so we're good there.
All right. I'll ask a couple quick questions then. Because, first of all, I did hit up the 20% off. Got me some, and thanks.
Thank you for always promoting that. I notice you bring it up most streams. So.
Yeah, well, I have to because I believe in it. I feel like a kid every time I open one. And that's why I was like, you know what, 20% off. I'm gonna get some troop builders, and I must just open them up one day, and it's gonna be fun. I love doing it. And I honestly, when I start moving stuff around, my Robo Skull should be here in a few days. So I'm trying to get a Robo Skull Delta 17 and a couple other things behind me that people can see.
God, that Robo Skull. This will be the
I
first
know.
place I say it. I'm waiting for mine too. My friend got his already. Steve got his as well. Toy of the year.
Oh yeah,
I
it
think
looks
it's gonna be
good.
Toy of the year. Yeah.
I can't wait to get it in hand.
I know.
Matt got his. He hasn't opened it yet. I honestly don't know if he will. Some things he doesn't open, and that's fine. People collect how they want to collect. But I can't imagine having that and not opening it. I hope he does because I think he'll enjoy it.
You know, it doesn't have a window box, I don't think, right?
No.
So so then yeah, if it had a window box, I get it. That why I wouldn't open it. But
Yeah.
you know, right?
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
Palo toy. Right there.
Yeah. See, that's something I'm getting into. I picked up some old Palatoy figures at Joe Fest last year.
Yep.
And it's really sparked. What I usually do is I just go and buy a bunch of crap at Joe Fest. I just do it. I'm like, this is cheap. I'll get this. This is cheap. No, I am going to buy less stuff to get stuff I'm looking for that costs a little bit more that I can find at Joe Fest. That's my goal this year.
That's the best way because for me, when I go to Joe Fest, maybe I'm just echoing what you're already thinking here. I can find stuff at toy shows here, right? You go to the Great Ohio Toy Show sometimes, right? You've got shows in Indiana there, but there's stuff that comes to Joe Fest that you can't find elsewhere, right? So sometimes you just got to get that, especially if it's going to be Palatoy stuff at reduced pricing because the people who come from the UK see it all the time. So for them, it's not rare. For us, it's hard to get, right?
Yeah, and I'm excited. I don't know if I'll venture into like the Red Jackal era. I might stick with the 5 POA for a while first, unless I come up to like a really good deal on some of those. What was Stalker's Palatoy name?
Jammer.
First name?
Jammer.
I mean,
yeah.
If I get a good deal on those, I'll probably snatch them up. But I really want to get a bunch of the 5 POA stuff because it's beautiful. The color schemes on Q Force and all that.
I mean, they're all kind of the same era, right? Because a lot of times the times that they use the Joe tooling would be on the drivers, right? Because Jackal came with the Hyena, for example. Quarrel came with the rapid fire motorcycle, so that's why they had to do that, right? Because then they could actually ride the vehicles and bend the knees and everything like that and hold the steering wheels, and that's the big reason why they did that, right? So yeah.
Well, yeah, I think with that, and they got permission to use the tooling, right? So
yes,
they start off just using the 5 POA instead of switching everything to the other. They just mixed them.
yeah, because apparently what happened was they were developing Action Force and GI Joe separately in '82, but because the '82 line of Action Force was downscaled from Action Man, it didn't have anything to do with the Real American Hero stuff. They weaved in the Real American Hero tooling later because they'd already known each other from when Action Man and the original GI Joe movable fighting man 12-inch figures. There was already a relationship there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. History of Action Force by Toy Kennections. Maybe that's a future video or series.
I'll watch it.
Or series altogether.
You know I will.
Brian Hickey from Total Toy Books says I need to tap him on the shoulder for when I do that series because he wants to collaborate on that. So I'm like, okay.
That would be, yeah. I met him at Joe Fest this year, and super nice guy.
Nice guy. So nice.
First time I've ever got a chance to talk to. I've heard him on Order Battle before,
Yes.
but yeah, he was awesome. And
Yeah.
Patty
Patty
was with
Lennon.
him. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, great
Yes.
guys.
I met him first. I met him the night before. So
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but I think the coolest thing was meeting Bob Rickett.
Oh, surreal. Surreal. Right?
You know, I've told the story 100 times, but me and Mass just having lunch at the bar, and he just come in, sat down, started talking to us.
That's right. You did tell that story before a couple
I
times.
was like, my goodness. Matt's like, I know.
Yeah. You always feel that when you're in his presence, right?
Oh,
When I
yeah.
ran into him at Joe Fest, it was because he needed to find his booth, and I think we were in the elevator with him, and I'm like, I know where your booth is. I'll walk you right over.
Yeah.
Right.
Super nice guy. He's like, I can't believe people still buy this stuff. I'm like, seriously? It's
Well,
awesome.
believe it, because they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll never forget Joe Fest because when I walked into the lobby, Mega JR and I are walking in. We're not even in the lobby yet. And I see Troy McKee from the Longbow team and Marco Bird from the Skeletron team. We give each other a big hug. And I think I'd messaged you when I was coming up from the parkade. And I can't remember whether it was you or John from Emerald Knight or Crash that got down the stairs first, because you all came down within a minute of each other. And it was just one by one catching up with everybody. Right. Pretty sure you were second, but forget, I forget the order, but it was just so surreal just seeing everyone again, because it's like, it felt so long, but so recent that I had seen a bunch of you, right? And some of the folks I was meeting for the first time as well, right? So it's just going to become an annual pilgrimage for me, just to get out there and just meet all the people. Like, you're surrounded by your people, you know.
Right. And what makes this year coming up is going to be more special is we're all staying in touch.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes. Yes. There's not going to be a sporadic, oh, you're here? Let's meet up. Shoot, it's already Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to know where each of us is on the road and everything. Do you normally arrive on Thursday, or what's the deal with you?
Yes. We will leave Columbus. I live in Columbus, Indiana. We'll leave here about 4 a.m.
I see.
And drive. So we'll get there about the time the hotel opens.
I see. Oh, like when you can check in.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah. Check in. And we won't leave till Monday, check out.
Right.
And just drive again. Or sometimes we'll get up early on Monday because we like to beat traffic.
Because check-in's about 3 p.m., maybe 2, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because you check out at 11, and it gives house cleaning some time to get through all the rooms. And both years in a row, I showed up around 10 p.m. in the evening on the Thursday. And the second time was not by design. It's just my flight got delayed coming out of Minneapolis, right? And I was like, damn it. I was actually trying to get there for dinner for once, but, you know.
Yeah, we drive. I'd love to fly because it's a 9-hour drive, and that doesn't count. I have to take a water pill for my heart, so I'll have to stop like 4 or 5 times to pee.
No, but I would too. I would stop a few times on that trip. Right now, do you normally carpool with Matt or no?
We did the first couple years, the first 3 years actually, but he brought his wife last year because they were doing another vacation. So I drove to West Virginia, stayed with Eric, then we drove down together.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So it was actually a longer trip for me.
Well, yeah.
But
yeah,
it was still
you've been
fun.
you've been going since 2021 then, haven't you?
You know, this is year 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we've been 4 years and we've already got our tickets for 5.
Well, you say each year gets better for you. I don't know what it was. I like the 2024 show more than the 2023, but I can't put my finger on, maybe because we had a bigger setup. But I think it was like when the second time you're there, you're meeting some people for the first time, but you're also like hanging out with people you already know, and you've been missing them all year because you found out how awesome they were the year before. And you're there the whole weekend. You're attached to the hip the whole weekend, but it's still a very sad goodbye. But I have to admit, saying goodbye to you all that second time was not as sad as the first time, because it was like, I've already done this before, right?
Yeah.
It's still a hard goodbye, right?
Yeah.
And
But like
my
I
dream
said,
one day.
we're
Go ahead.
closer now. Constant contact.
Yes.
Counting down the times. Can't wait for my wife to meet you because she's coming.
Be happy to meet her
But
and all the wives of podcasts from the
yeah,
pit. But my big
she
dream,
said that.
as I always tell Eric Harper, I wish we could meet twice a year. That'd be the best. Saying I'll
Yeah,
see you in a few months is a lot better than saying I'll see you in a year. So yeah. Anyway,
right.
what you were saying.
That's where PowerCon would be great, or AR if
Yep.
PowerCon doesn't come back. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good time. My wife said that she doesn't want me to do anything different. She said that she's happy to stay in the room and play Xbox.
Sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah, she's a big gamer.
Good.
Yeah,
That's a great hobby. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Like I said, though, I could sit here and just talk for hours, and we would probably run out of like usable stuff.
Quit while you're
But
ahead, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm sure you already do, but if you don't, check out Toy Kennections. It's a great channel. Actually, learn a lot from watching Toy Kennections. I'd say there's a handful of shows that I try never to miss, and you're in that handful of shows. I
Appreciate
have so many friends that do shows that I do my best to try to catch them all. Some of them shows are just too long for what I can watch, so I'll watch what I can, make sure they get a view and a like and all that. But yeah, I don't like to miss yours. So
Appreciate it.
well, thanks again for coming on, and everybody, if you would please like, maybe share, maybe subscribe. That'd be awesome.
Thanks again.
Thank you.